I'm Sharon Tazwell. Here's your Spectrum News in 90. President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump have agreed to two presidential debates, one in June and the second in September. The debates could be critical to either campaigns as both candidates look to secure support from undecided voters.
The American people got to know what is at stake when it comes to Donald Trump.
Of course they don't want an audience who will boo Joe Biden for his absolute failed record.
Opening statements are underway in the bribery trial of New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez. Federal prosecutors told jurors Wednesday the Democrat traded his power in return for bribes, including gold bars, cash, and a car. Lawyers for Menendez responded, calling prosecutors, quote, dead wrong. The New Jersey senator maintains his innocence and has pleaded not guilty. A House committee held a hearing Wednesday on the ongoing response following the collapse of Baltimore's Key Bridge. The NTSB released a preliminary report Tuesday finding the ship. Federal officials told lawmakers Wednesday it could take years to rebuild the bridge.
Projected schedule right now is for a progressive design build team to be selected this summer and for construction to begin next year and run through 2028.
Those are your headlines. Now, here's your weather on the ones.
Hi there, I'm meteorologist Robert Santos. Once again, we're going to be tracking some unsettled weather overnight through Thursday morning from the Great Lakes down into the southern plains. And as we go throughout the day, Friday, these storms will begin to move to the east. And some of it could be severe down in the Gulf, where temperatures in the morning on Thursday will start off in the 70s, 50s, 60s everywhere else. Then during the day, very hot in parts of Texas and southern Florida, and warmer than average as well in the northern tier.
Debate months in the making. Thanks for joining us. I'm Sharon Tazwell. President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump have agreed to hold two campaign debates. The first will be held June 27th, the second September 10th. Spectrum's Taylor Popolars is in Washington with a preview of what we can expect to see with less than 6 months until the November election.
It all started with a short video posted to X early Wednesday morning.
Donald Trump lost 2 debates to me in 2020. And since then, he hadn't shown up for debate. Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal.
President Joe Biden's re-election campaign proposed an unconventional plan for general election debates, explaining it all in a letter to the Commission on Presidential Debates that has hosted them since 1988. One debate in June, one vice presidential debate in July, and a second presidential face-off in September. Each hosted a primary debate in 2020, foregoing the commission's plan to host debates between mid-September and early October. Within an hour, Trump accepted, writing on his Truth Social app, "I am ready and willing to debate Crooked Joe at the 2 proposed times in June and September. I would strongly recommend more than 2 debates, and for excitement purposes, a very large venue." And by noon, Trump and Biden agreed to a June 27th debate hosted by CNN and one on September 10th put on by ABC. Political communications expert Peter Loge says the way this all happened was unique.
I think the Biden campaign's approach is to try to pick a bit of a fight. At this point, it sounds like 2 kids agreeing to meet behind the swing set after recess.
Team Biden argued the commission held messy debates in 2020, and their plan for debates this fall is too late in the campaign season. Loge says it's unclear whether this marks the end of the commission, but he called Biden
right before early voting. You have the debate, you have a strong performance, you reach out to your voters and say, you saw I won, vote now. That way you take advantage of the surge, you lock in the votes before public opinion resettles to a norm.
While Biden and Trump appear satisfied, independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. criticized the new plan that appears to leave third-party candidates out, saying on X that Trump and Biden are colluding to lock America into a head-to-head matchup that 70% say they do not want. One of the Biden campaign's more unique stipulations is that the debates take place without a live studio audience. So far, despite Trump pushing for a large venue, it seems Trump and the networks involved are agreeing to that. In Washington, Taylor Popolars, Spectrum News.
Spectrum News political anchor Alex Cohen joins me from Southern California months before the general election.
I am going to say that if these debates happen, and I'm going to say if because there's still a lot of details to be hammered out, it's hard to say who this might benefit. I think Joe Biden and his team wanted these to happen earlier than usual because let's not forget there is early voting in plenty of states, including here in California. So you want to make sure you can leave that impression in enough time. But if we look at the news cycle and how things happen so quickly, you know, in the couple of weeks between now and then, anything could happen. So who's going to say, you know, you wake up that morning, some other big bomb drops. Is it going to help out Biden more, help out Trump more? Really remains to be seen.
Very true. It changes by the hour. All right, Alex, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. not expect a scenario where RFK Jr. being on stage could actually help Biden or Trump?
You know, this was one of the conditions from Biden's team, that there would not be any third-party candidates to take away from the two front runners. And, you know, of course, now we see RFK Jr. saying, look, some polls are showing that up to 70% of the electorate say they don't like either of these candidates. So there should be another person there on stage. I think from the entertainment perspective, it could benefit the audience and help kind of, you know, show us even more contrast between these three particular candidates. But one of the big questions that I don't think anyone's been able to truly accurately answer is, whose campaign does this impact more? Because there's plenty of places where I think the RFK Jr. campaign takes away from potential votes for Biden, but there's also plenty of instances in which his policy, his plan kind of pull away from Donald Trump voters. So who's to say? It's going to be some wild debates.
Yeah. It really will be. All right, Alex Cowan, thank you so much for your insight, as always.
You're welcome.
Overseas now to the Middle East. Egypt is warning Israel of dire repercussions over a full-scale invasion of Rafah. It is the latest country to warn Israel. And as Spectrum's Evan Kozloff reports, the U.S. is moving forward with a plan to sell $1 billion in weapons to Israel, despite concerns over how the weapons will be used.
We have to do what we have to do.
Speaking with CNBC on Wednesday, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu conceded that he and President Biden have disagreements about how to proceed in Rafah. The South Gaza city on the border with Egypt has become a refuge for more than 1 million Palestinians who have fled violence elsewhere in Gaza. The White House has repeatedly warned Israel against an offensive.
We can see eye to eye with the United States. We're talking to them, but ultimately we do what we have to do to protect the life of our nation.
The tensions between the two allies escalated last week when the Biden administration announced a pause in the shipment of 2,500-pound bombs to Israel. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre defended the move on Wednesday.
We do not believe they should be dropped in densely, these bombs, right, should be dropped in densely populated cities. So we are talking to the Israeli government about this. That's why we put a pause.
Meanwhile, on Capitol Hill, that pause has outraged many congressional Republicans.
You're incentivizing bad behavior.
Who are now pushing a new bill that would prohibit the White House from withholding or canceling the delivery of military aid to Israel. The White House already saying that Biden would veto the bill if it reached his desk. Now, as the White House and Congress debates this short-term pause, the Biden administration is pushing forward with long-term tank ammo, tactical vehicles, and mortar rounds. The arms sale would need congressional approval and could take years to arrive. In Washington, I'm Evan Kozloff, Spectrum News.
A congressional hearing on the federal response to the Baltimore Bridge collapse just ahead. How lawmakers hope the latest findings will help avoid future disasters.
Spectrum News Plus. News from a new perspective, dedicated to refreshing storytelling and empowering communities across the nation. With balanced reporting, providing real context and in-depth coverage 24 hours a day.
Here's a look at your forecast across the country.
Local stories, connecting community, and free with your Spectrum subscription.
At Spectrum, we know how much you depend on the reliability of our products and services. Now, we've taken a new step forward in reliability by identifying potential service issues before they become a problem. If you're affected, we'll contact you and help schedule a free service appointment with one of our expert technicians. The proactive maintenance of our network is one of the many reasons Spectrum delivers the most reliable internet speeds in the nation. Spectrum, keeping you connected.
When I never graduated from high school, I realized I wanted to go back to school because I didn't want to work these back-breaking jobs the rest of my life. With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed to come back to school. I felt accomplished, made me feel that I could take on whatever challenges life throws at you.
It's near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
We are tracking some unsettled weather in the eastern half of the lower 48. Hi there, I'm meteorologist Robert Santos. Overnight into the early morning hours of Thursday, we'll watch some showers right around New York and Pennsylvania, then also right around Oklahoma and Texas to start off our day on Friday and continue as we go throughout the evening hours of Thursday. So let's get a closer look at this. So you see early Thursday morning how those storms will start to spread across Oklahoma and Texas. Here's Thursday around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and you can see those storms are firing up, expected between Houston and Dallas, and then pushing across into Louisiana for late Thursday and even into the overnight hours Thursday into Friday across Mississippi and Alabama, and eventually some of this moving up into Kentucky as well for your Friday. In fact, let's take a look at a closer look a little farther north. So we'll go to Friday, and you'll see some of those. There you see those storms coming across into Kentucky. So places like Lexington, be weather alert, especially on that Friday. As we go throughout the day, you see there much of Texas will have some storms coming through. Same thing for Ohio and Pennsylvania, and you could see these storms moving into the northeast. Now, here's where we see the severe weather outlook Wednesday, where it was slightly enhanced right around Kansas and Oklahoma. That's going to shift southward. So for Thursday, those storms, a slight risk of severe storms through Texas and Louisiana, and including Mississippi and Alabama for your Friday. Okay, the next 3 days, I've got the rain in your forecast Thursday and Friday. In St. Louis, Missouri, drier for Saturday. Dallas, Fort Worth, Thursday, it's going to be stormy. Temperatures will be in the 70s. And then look at this, drier, but it will start to get hot. Saturday, we're looking at some low 90s. Cincinnati, Ohio, dry for your Thursday. And then I'm calling for some rain and thunderstorms for Friday and even for Saturday with temperatures in the 70s there.
His life after being shot multiple times Wednesday in an assassination attempt. Officials say Robert Fico remains in life-threatening condition. The shooting happened after an off-site government meeting. The gunman is in police custody. Fico was a known ally of Russia. He won a third term last October running a campaign criticizing Western support for Ukraine. The bribery trial of New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez continued Wednesday with opening arguments. Federal prosecutors accused Menendez and his wife of accepting bribes in exchange for political power, which enriched several New Jersey businessmen as well as the governments of Egypt and Qatar. The New Jersey Democrat denies any wrongdoing. And joining me now in studio is Spectrum's Dan Rivoli. Dan, break down the key issues in this case, including what prosecutors will be trying to convince the jury.
So right out of the gate during opening remarks, prosecutors called Bob and schemed work involving the senator, his wife Nadine, 3 businessmen, one of whom already pleaded guilty and is expected to testify. And they explained how they all benefited from it, as well as the governments of Egypt and Qatar. And in fact, those infamous gold bars prosecutors say Bob Menendez accepted and knew about because he Googled the value of those gold bars, basically said how one of the defendants provided them to him in exchange for helping land an investment from a Qatari investment fund, and then Bob Menendez would do favors or speak favorably on behalf of the government of Qatar. Now, the defense says there are innocent explanations for this, that he didn't know about the gold bars, and the defense seemed to set it up that they're going to blame his wife, who has a separate trial from her husband, the senator.
All right. Dan Rivoli in New York, thank you so much. Lawmakers in Washington held a hearing Wednesday on the federal a cargo ship rammed into the Baltimore Bridge in March, killing 6 workers. The chair of the National Transportation Safety Board testified just one day after the agency released its preliminary reports into the tragedy. Spectrum News anchor Carla Redditt reports.
National Transportation Safety Board Chair Jennifer Homendy told a House committee Wednesday that the Baltimore Bridge disaster investigation remains ongoing and is complex.
It is unprecedented to be there that long.
On Tuesday, 7 weeks after a massive cargo ship hit the Francis Scott Key Bridge, causing a collapse that killed 6 construction workers, the NTSB issued its preliminary report. Among the findings, the ship had a pair of catastrophic electrical failures minutes before the crash and experienced 2 blackouts the day prior in port. A final report could take 2 years. Wreckage has clogged the port, a major shipping channel for sugar and the automotive industry. The bridge every day.
Usually when you have an impact where you remove a significant piece of infrastructure, traffic seems to level out after a while. That's not happening here in Baltimore to the same extent. And I think it's because of just the criticality of this artery.
Lawmakers eager to know how to avoid future disasters.
You have a bridge that began operations in 1977, and if it was built today, it would be built differently.
Built differently, Homendy said, to accommodate larger vessels traveling with larger container loads. As for a new Baltimore Bridge, that will take some time.
Projected schedule right now is for a progressive design build team to be selected this summer and for construction to begin next year and run through 2028.
Carla Redditt, Spectrum News.
Coming up on Spectrum News, a Wisconsin high school is excelling on and off the court.
Here's the deal. In this election year, people need a place to explore national issues that have an impact on their community. To understand those issues better, we're bringing together our team of local political journalists from across the country to break down what's happening. So join us every week to catch up on the key stories making a big difference across the nation and in your local community.
Watch The Big Deal with Errol Lewis Friday nights at 9 Eastern, 8 Central on Spectrum News Plus. Available on all of your favorite devices exclusively on Spectrum.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Those spring storms continue to spring up across the lower 48. Hi there, meteorologist Robert Santos. And this time we'll be tracking storms moving across the southern plains and the Great Lakes for Thursday and then eventually shifting east. Flash flooding as a result of some of the excessive rainfall. We are expecting that right around East Texas and also Louisiana. And then some dangerous heat for southern Texas and southern Florida. So let's take a look at temperatures in Texas. You look farther south, you might say, okay, 80s, not so bad. But when you factor in the humidity, San Antonio, for instance, it'll feel more like the 90s there. Now, when we go to Florida, temperatures here will all be in the 90s for daytime highs for Thursday. But when you factor in the humidity once again, look at Miami. Instead of feeling like 90s, it's going to feel more like the triple digits. Now, temperatures, but not this early. Usually temperatures we feel in August. So it's certainly not the day over the next few days, really the rest of the week, not the time to actually be doing any sort of yard work, let's say, out in the middle of the day. Make sure you're in a cool zone with air conditioning because it's not only going to be oppressive and feeling miserable, but it's also going to be pretty dangerous. Looking across the entire lower 48, you can see where it is warmer than average. For Miami, by the way, 14 degrees above average there, and above average as well right across the southwest, including Las Vegas and Phoenix, where temperatures there will be in the 90s as well. Finally, some relief across Portland with 72, 70s in Dallas, but a little farther south, that's where the warmth is. Okay, so Portland, Oregon. I know we had some hot days with some 80s and 90s, especially 90s over the holiday weekend, rather, the Mother's Day weekend. But look at this, the next 7 days, we have a whole lot of comfortable temperatures coming your way with some upper 60s. We're looking at much closer. Up for you in Dallas, Texas, you can see there a little warmer each day and hot come weekend time and into early next week. San Antonio, Texas as well. So be prepared for this. Make sure you get anything you need to get done outdoors earlier in the day or later in the day. If you're going to places like Los Angeles, it's not going to be sunny all the time. Morning clouds, afternoon sunshine with those temperatures. Look at this, below average with a lot of upper 60s. Climate Prediction Center's temperature outlook for May 22nd to the 28th. The warmth will stick around here. Warmer than average temperatures expected here. A cooler than average outlook across the Pacific Northwest down into Southern California.
Netflix announced Wednesday that it will stream 2 NFL games on Christmas Day. Chiefs versus Steelers and NFL game, all part of a 3-year partnership with the league to stream on Christmas. The NFL says at least one Christmas Day game will be streamed next year and in 2026. Uber will soon begin letting riders book a shuttle to the airport, concerts or sporting events. Customers can reserve up to 5 seats in a shuttle from one location for less than the price of a regular Uber ride. Seats can be booked up to a week in advance, and the service will be rolled out this summer in cities like Chicago, Pittsburgh, Charlotte, and Miami, then gradually expand to more cities. Oh, women's basketball has been in the spotlight lately, culminating with the college national championship, which drew record numbers. Now even more after Caitlin Clark's WNBA debut Tuesday night. But if you played a sport, you know it takes years of hard work and dedication. Spectrum News anchor Marilee Melendez has a story of one high school basketball player's journey and how she...
Women's basketball sensation Caitlin Clark's debut with the Indiana Fever was played to the first sellout crowd at the WNBA venue in decades. Known for her incredible skill and quiet confidence, Clark has been setting an example for young players all over the world. For one high school player in Wisconsin, she has quite a few similarities to Clark, including her love for the three-pointer. Nathan Phelps has the story.
Practice like this made Leah Jamison a dangerous shooter from long range for the Rhinelander Hodags.
Yeah, I do like the three-point shot.
Girls basketball coach Ryan Clark said Jamison was the leader for his team.
She's just the most inviting, kind kid you can imagine. Very hardworking, extremely hardworking. If they need anything, Leah just kind of takes care of them.
Everyone looks up to her. She's that kid that's just going to go out there and give her best effort day in and day out.
She tries to set the example for younger students at the school.
I had seniors older than me that definitely looked out for me and were very encouraging and very inspiring, so I try to be like that.
Eva Hedlund says she's known Jamison since the two were babies. She calls her friend very driven.
Sometimes when I won't feel like, oh, Leah, I don't really feel like doing this worksheet or homework, she's always like, well, Eva, like, go and do it. Or she's always the example of what I should be doing.
The two teamed up for an impactful Key Club project.
So the literacy program takes all kindergarteners in the school district of Rhinelander, and they all receive 2 free books. And then as a club, we go over and read the books to the kids, and the kids absolutely loved it.
The program inspired other groups, and next year it will expand to include. Jamison achieved all of this while earning straight A's throughout her high school career.
It definitely does not come naturally. It takes a lot of work. I don't think a lot of people understand how much work it takes. When people are out having fun on weekends and at night and stuff, I'll usually be at home studying or working on projects, and it's definitely, you have to be disciplined to be able to get stuff done.
When Jamison leaves Rhinelander, she won't be forgotten.
She's just one of those that, walk in the hallways, I probably 5-10 years later be like, wow, I'll still be talking about Leah Jamison.
Being the dad of a 5-year-old daughter, I want her to turn out just like her.
Leah Jamison set the example in her school and community with her hard work and kindness, and left a lasting imprint for others to follow. In Rhinelander, Nathan Phelps, Spectrum News.
So impressive. Jamison is heading to the University of Wisconsin-Madison next year and hopes to become a radiologist. For Spectrum News.
I'm Sharon Tazwell. Thanks for watching. Your Spectrum News in 90 is coming up right after this short break. Stay with us.
At Spectrum News, we're committed to strengthening the fabric of local communities through our reporting, with stories that inspire and news that matters. Streaming live on your smart TV and connected devices, plus on-demand weather forecasts. It's all there as you step outside with the Spectrum News mobile app, keeping you informed and in the know throughout your day. Spectrum News Plus, local stories, connecting communities. Exclusively for Spectrum customers. Now available on your favorite devices.
At Spectrum, our workforce of over 100,000 employees are all located right here in the U.S. Our call centers with 100% U.S.-based customer service. Our team works hard to provide the towns, cities, and neighborhoods they live in with the reliable services that everyone counts on, making us one of America's most trusted companies. We're Spectrum, creating jobs and opportunities across the country, and proud to be 100% U.S.-based.
Today, I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Days are gone, that's why I'm never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go. Babe, I'm never gonna let you go. No, no, never gonna let you go.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Never gonna let you go.